So, good morning, everyone. Today, our presentation will be about uh, great souls, great persons, great people all over the centuries and continents. So, there are some extraordinary individuals who chose a path of compassion, of kindness, reverence for life, and and their compassion extends to all sentient beings, expressed by living a plant-based living and the refusal to cause harm. And yeah, they were like sometimes rebels in their time, so they did not necessarily conform to their time, not fully at least, and um, because of their views, their compassion and their kindness, yeah, they defied humanity's norms, one could say. Um, at least, yeah. I believe initially we were all like plant-based in history. Um, then, for some reasons, we started the animal agriculture, and then it went downhill from there. And this caused a lot of issues all over the world. The harming sentient beings just for our taste. Um, yeah, that created a lot of issues. Yeah, I'm not talking about if one didn't have any choice, but for a long time we most certainly did have a choice, um, and that is just basically it's a choice if we consume animal products or not. Um, yeah, for a long time in many places the people were at the very least lacto-vegetarians. They did not eat meat, fish, or eggs. They may have like used a little bit of dairy, but it was also very different than nowadays. Um, at that time, dairy was like taken in medicinal quantities, like very small. And in some places, like cows were much respected, even though personally I believe that we should not consume dairy in any case, that it may be medicinal or not. It is just not our product, it is the product of the babies of the mammals, and we are the only species that drinks and uses dairy products from other animals, and that is just not right. But okay, even then it was very different at that time, and dairy was not what it is today, for sure. Um, Still, to find people who are completely vegan in the past is not. I mean, vegan from a modern perspective is not that easy and clear to find, because we don't have really the or the context of the people. We don't really know exactly what they ate. Um, there is one incredible exception for that. Um, it's a wonderful Arab called Al-Mahari. Um, he lived in about 1,000 years ago, and he was quite incredible. And he was 100% vegan. And how do we know it? It's through his poetry. And that he might be the very first fully documented, one could say, vegan. And he was very strong against using any animal products. So one could say that he was 1,000 years ahead of his era, and it must not have been easy for him to go against the grain of society, of his culture. But instead, he stood strong on his feet, and yeah, for me, he's a saint. Um, to have been able to do that, like when there was no one around who was like him, who was vegan. There were probably a lot of meat eating at that time at his um, place and culture, but he understood the importance of compassion and kindness, and yeah, he was special. But there are of course many other special beings that we're going to discuss about a little bit now. Of course, those are not the only beings, just a selection of them. So please don't feel hurt if someone that you know is was like vegetarian or vegan in the past, and then I do not mention. Of course, one cannot mention everyone. Maybe I will make other presentation like that of other people, but this is just a selection. So yeah, Pythagoras, he was a philosopher who, um, and he was, he was many things. He was mathematician, I believe, great being, and he was full non-violence, about non-violence. He taught compassion and non-violence towards all animals as a fundamental ethical principle. And he believed that our treatment of beings shapes the very essence of our souls, no more, no less. That's quite an incredible point of view. And yeah, in Greece there were many great philosophers and mathematicians and scientists at that time. So it was a great culture, great civilization. And yeah, and the Pythagorean, actually there was, I think, there's something called the Pythagorean diet, which is actually kind of the pre-vegan diet that exists. So his name is still stood as non-violence towards all animals. And yeah, it's quite incredible. It was like more than 2 millennia ago, and he understood that violence begets violence. No matter who we cause violence to, no matter who, it's violence is violence. So be it toward humans or toward animal people. So we should not view it as two distinct things. It is the same. Violence is violence. There's no other way to say it. And so there are some quotes for him that are wonderful. So, for as long as men massacre animals, they will kill each other. and that is quite clear. So he's saying that what we do to animals basically also reflect about how we treat humans. Humans are just another animal, basically, another species. So we should not think about humans as superior to animals. And yeah, and yeah, those who sow injustice will reap calamity. And injustice to any being. So he was very much a non-violent at heart. So great soul. Then with Plutarch, and he also like a philosopher who dared to question tradition. He criticized meat consumption as unnecessary and unnatural to human beings. And also from a moral examination, he urged humanity to examine the difference between mindless habit and conscious morality. Um, and then at that time, it was like dangerous to challenge tradition. And he still, but he gently, I mean, he continued to ask the rights, and he just didn't accept what was considered normal at that time. Um, and he asked like a wonderful question: what if cruelty has simply become a habit we mistake for nature? And that's a wonderful question to ask ourselves, because yeah, cruelty, like I mean nowadays, anytime, I mean not only nowadays but in the past, became so desensitized. It's so like normal in some sense. Um, like what we do to animals, we don't think twice usually. We don't think at all. Like when we eat a burger or steak, or we drink milk or eat cheese, we don't think about the unbelievable suffering that goes behind those products, so-called products. They are not products, but they become products. But yeah, so cruelty has become a habit basically, and it's very hard to go against society, against morality, against ethics. But it is possible, and we certainly should examine what we do. Um, so yeah, so some quotes that are quite amazing. One is, can you really ask what reason Pythagoras had for abstaining from flesh? For my part, I rather wonder both by what accident and in what state of soul, of mind, the first man did so. That's a wonderful quote. It's like turning everything upside down, because probably was talking with people who was wondering why Pythagoras abstained from eating meat. And then he was like wondering, but he wonders how come actually the first man did so. And indeed, I also do not understand. But and then he was saying, flesh eating is not natural to man, as is shown by his bodily structure, which is very true. We don't have claws in our fingers. We are not meant to hunt. We are not hunters. This is just a myth. We don't have claws that we can grab people, animal people, and kill them or eat or tear their flesh. We don't have our digestive system is much longer than meat eating species, because we need to digest all the fiber and all thing that comes in our system, while the carnivores, for example, they need to get rid as soon as possible anything that they eat, so that it doesn't putrefy in their own body. There are many other things that are related to our body, which we are not meant to eat flesh for sure. Like when we see blood or animal killed somewhere, we don't have the urge to go and eat that dead animal, do we? Um, and carnivores, on the contrary, when they see those animals, they will go there and they will. It's like their treat. So we are very different than carnivores and even omnivores. We cannot really eat meat like without cooking it, or any other. I mean, eggs also. I mean, normally we prepare them, so to speak. Fish also, we don't eat raw. Some may eat it, but it cannot last long. They just force themselves to eat it because they believe in some crazy theory, and they get themselves very sick as a result. But yeah, so Plutarch. Then, of course, we have Siddhartha Gautama Buddha. He was a big proponent of ahimsa, non-violence, non-harming, as the foundation of spiritual practice. And yes, so he taught about universal compassion, to extend compassion and reverence to all sentient beings without exception. There's a big misunderstanding about some things that he did. For example, how he died. It is some believe that he died by eating like a rotten flesh or something like that, or pig. That is not true. It's what he ate was like a kind of mushroom that is like found by pigs, and then it has like a pig name. And yeah, and the other misunderstanding that he said that it's not that we can eat meat if we have not seen it die, if we have not heard it, if it was not cooked for us, etc. But that was only possibly for his early monks, because they had to go and take alms from people. So he was pragmatic, so he didn't want his monks to die of hunger. So he allowed it for some time. But in other places, he really clearly stated that we should definitely not eat meat, because it distinguishes the seeds of compassion, no more, no less. So yeah, Buddha was most certainly, if not vegan, a vegetarian, and at that time it was, again, like I said before, it was very different with dairy. And it was not like today where we drink it every day and with cheese every day, with butter every day. At that time, I'm not sure they saw like any dairy product in a week or a month. And the cows were treated also differently, even though, again, I am not, I would, even then I would say that we should not eat any dairy, and no matter what time it is of the period of history. Problem is that when people start eating and like kind of using other species for their own good, then it kind of like, it's like a stone rolling down the mountain. Maybe in the beginning it's very slow, and then it takes a lot of momentum then it becomes a big issue. So it's like we should not even start with it because it's not our food. That's why dairy should not, in my opinion, have been ever consumed. But yeah, for some reasons, humans use that. Maybe they didn't have a choice. I do not know. And yeah, Buddha so extended compassion and kindness to all beings. And he said, all beings tremble before violence, all fear death, all love life. And putting oneself in the place of another, one should not kill nor cause another to kill. That is quite a clear message. Um, so we should not cause another to kill. That means we should, that's clearly meant that we should not eat any product, any so-called product that comes out of suffering and pain. And yeah, but of course it's like always, when a great being passes away, then his teachings kind of take a turn for the bad, one could say, and people misinterpret his teachings and try to see, for example, with the fact how he died, then it is still discussed today, which is ridiculous. And then people say, oh, but if he ate pig, then I can eat pig. No. First, he didn't eat pig, and second, we should think by ourselves. That's what Buddha taught us, is that we should think by ourselves and not follow blindly anyone or anything. Similarly, even the Buddha said that we should not listen to him until we are in agreement with him. And so he was very liberal. He was very, he did not try to impose things on people, just to give a path of compassion and kindness. That's all. And he was definitely, again, either vegan or vegetarians, I do not know. But he did not eat meat. And Buddhist and all religion, in my opinion, should avoid eating any animal products, just in the name of compassion of their founders. Yeah. Leonardo da Vinci. I think he was in the Renaissance in Italy. He was one of the most amazing soul that ever lived on Earth. He was a genius, no other words. He was a scientist, mathematician, painter, sculptor, doctor even. I mean, he studied like anatomy. One could ask, what was he not? If he would have been today, he would have been an Einstein. Yes, so not only was he a genius, but he was also very loving and kind and compassionate to all beings, and he was known for his tenderness. He had a heart that could not harm. So Leonardo did not eat animals throughout his life. And yeah, he was quite known to purchase caged birds in the marketplace and then just set them free. Which just show how big a heart he had. And of course, he did not eat any meat. And he saw that a beautiful future where humanity would look back in the horror in the past of what was considered normal, but then was discovered not to be. And he said, the time will come when men such as I will look upon the murder of animals as they now look upon the murder of men. What a beautiful saying. I dream about that day that will come. I don't know when that will come. When that will come, I believe humanity will have made a big step forward in their civilization level, one could say. And from then on, civilization will even go even much faster than it is today. And not only faster, but in a more compassionate and kind way. So he also said, truly man is the king of beasts, for his brutality exceeds them. We live by the death of others. We are burial places. That's uh, that's quite strong, and it's true. There's a famous saint of last century called Sant Kirpal Singh. When he was young, I don't remember how young, maybe he was 5 years old. He refused to eat meat, and his father wanted to force him to eat meat, wanted him to eat meat, but he said very very strongly, "Dear father, would you have me make a burial place out of my body?" Um, Cause and dead animals, like dead animals. So when he said that to his father, then his father was kind of shocked, and from then on he left young Sant Kirpal Singh to do as he pleased, and he did not force him to eat meat. So yeah, there are some great souls who even very early in their life already have great hearts and great understanding of things. Then we have Francis of Assisi. He was a monk, um, I believe, yeah, Christian monk, and he called every being, every animal as well his brother and sister, um, and not as property, but not as resource, but as a kin, as a family member, deserving love and protection. He lived in simplicity. He was a monk. And he praised poverty and simplicity, and did not partake in the system at that time of exploitation and harm. And yeah, he saw the divine spark in every living beings, from the smallest ant to the mightiest elephant. Um, and he was known for his kindness. And he said, if you have men who will exclude any of God's creatures from the shelter of compassion and pity, you will have men who will deal likewise with their fellow men. I would say this is like a quote that should be studied and remembered by heart, maybe put in big above our desk. Yes, so it's clearly saying that as long as we hurt other beings for our own selfish reasons, then also there will be like men who will do violence against other men. I mean, men, women, and beings like mankind, species. Um, and that is a big statement, and I believe that strongly that the way that we behave with animals is why we have wars, basically. It may be a big statement, but I do believe that strongly, because when we treat animals just like animals are very innocent. They don't have any protection. We can basically do whatever we wish to them, and they cannot fight. No, they cannot create uh, weapons to protect themselves or anything. They are very, very innocent. They are very, uh, very smart, very wise, but innocent. And they don't have the tools to defend themselves. They don't have hands that they can, and even if they do, they cannot create tools to help them. That's the only difference between them and us. One could say we have our bodies is super well made to create tools. In a good and a bad sense, we create good tools, we create bad tools. But animals, they don't have that. So and if we prey on them, on the innocent ones, then what does it show about us? Our side, it's like our violent side is shown through it very, very, very strongly. That we can do whatever we wish to those who can't do anything about it. So that's why, like, people try to invade other countries because they believe they are superior to them. They want something that belongs to the other country, and they just go and bulldoze through their country without thinking about the consequence. And similarly, what we do to animals, it's very similar. We hold them in small places, small cages, believing that they are just products for us to enjoy, especially their flesh. For some reason, and their secretion, their milk, and cheese and butter and all that things. But no, that is very wrong view. Animals do not belong to us. Animals belong to nature. Animals want to be free. And like all countries, all people, all humans too, they want to be free. When a country invades another country, it's kind of like putting them in cage, wanting to put them in cage. Again, for one's own selfish reasons, very, very violent. And if a person is doing that to animals, then there's good chance he will also do it to humans. And yeah, in Buddhism, or in the East, it's called also karma. When we create a lot of karma, then it's bad karma. So then it has it needs to. It's like as you sow, so shall you reap. So when we throw a ball at the wall, it comes back to us at the same speed, more or less. So yeah, so that's why we need to be very kind and compassionate to all beings, and then we will be kind and compassionate to humans too. So that's why we need to teach our children to be compassionate to all beings. And yes, sometimes there are beings children who don't want to eat meat, but their parents force them to eat meat because believing that it is good for their health. I mean, I'm not saying the parents are bad or anything, but it's kind of the society where we live in, where we believe that violence is a good thing. And we destroy, we kill the spark of compassion, of kindness in us, in our species. And it's time to reclaim that spark, to re-spark it, to make that spark alive again, and to open our hearts to compassion, to the divine, to see all beings as divine. A bird is divine, an ant is divine, a pig is divine, a cow is divine, a dog and a cat are divine. But we again compartmentalized beings like dog and cats good, pig and cow food. This is just human thing. But okay. So Francis of Assisi, a very great soul. And then we get to Al-Mahari, the great Al-Mahari. He was, he lived, he was a poet, a great poet, and he was vegan, one of the first vegan, like as I said, like first certified vegan, one could say. Like he had a vegan stamp on him, compassionate, kindness stamp, and he was strict vegan before even that even existed. I mean, as a word at least, and which only was created. The word was coined in 1944 by Donald Watson. So, like one millennium after him, and so it preceded the modern animal rights movements by a millennium, which is absolutely incredible. I am still in awe about him. So I believe he lived in Syria, what now is Syria, and his ethic was very strong. He was very grounded in empathy, and he refused to cause unnecessary suffering. For me, he was the saint of saints of that time, and maybe was the greatest of saints. He was possibly a prophet. I don't know if I can say it that way, but prophet of prophets, maybe. Prophet is somebody who is ahead of his or her time, and he certainly was. So, what some quotes some of his poems. So, do not unjustly eat fish; the water is given up, and do not desire the flesh of slaughtered animals. Oh, the white milk of mothers who intended is pure draught for their young, not noble ladies. Oh, what a wonderful soul. And he also, in this poem, he also talked about against eating honey, even. Yes, he was against eating honey, because he said that it was stealing from the bees. How incredible that was. And it was, he lived in a place that was not, was definitely not vegan or even vegetarian. But he persisted, and he was a prophet of prophets, the king of prophets. Okay, maybe we go a bit too far, I don't know, but that's how I feel. And then there's Percy Bysshe Shelley. He was also a poet who wrote Revolution in Verse. To advocate passionately for plant-based living, like drawing the connection between injustice, cruelty towards animals, and human tyranny. So probably at his time there was maybe some tyranny, tyrannical oppressors. I'm not sure about the history there. But he said, never again may blood of bird or beast stain with its venomous stream a human feast. And also it is only by softening and disguising dead flesh by culinary preparation that it is rendered susceptible for mastication and digestion. Again, he was very much ahead of his time. He's exactly right, because when we eat meat, basically meat is tasteless. What we do to meat is we cook it first, and we put a lot of ingredients, whatever that may be: oil, salt, sugar, spices, herbs, whatnot, to make it palatable. We can do the same with plant-based food. There's no reason to do it only with meat. Plant-based food is very much in line with that, like tofu. Tofu is absorbing anything that any flavor that one soak it in, then it will soak that flavor, for example. And many others like seitan, which is amazing, tempeh, which is great as well, and then all the plant-based burgers and everything, which is quite great. And yeah, so again, a great being. And Leo Tolstoy, a great novelist, one of the greatest ever novelists, and who was also who found God in nonviolence. So he had a great spiritual awakening, and then he understood deeply about the nonviolence, and he committed to it, and he advocated very passionately to compassionate living and inspire social change. Yeah, then demonstrate that ethical living is not only possible but essential for human flourishing. And then what he said is again beautiful. As long as there are slaughterhouses, there will be battlefields. Same concept as we saw before. They all say similarly. And that's amazing to say such things. He also understood the relation between violence towards on the animal people and violence toward the human species animal. So there is there will always be wars until we stop the slaughterhouses. And I will add also when we stop the dairy farms also. I will add a small addendum. Dairy is not better. It's worse even. Yeah, so a man can live and be healthy without killing animals for food. Therefore, if he eats meat, he participates in taking animal life merely for the sake of his appetite. How wonderful to say that. And yeah, it is true. Again, why do we eat animals? Just for our appetite, for nothing else, basically. We don't need animal protein. Protein, there's enough in plants and many other plant-based food without all the bad cholesterol and saturated fat and whatnot, and the bad energy in those food. That yeah, we don't need meat or dairy for that matter. Yeah, so he wrote War and Peace, but he also lived for peace. So it's a wonderful correlation. And he refused to participate in the system of violence, no matter how it was at that time. And yeah, so his voice is still echoed nowadays. Oh, Mahatma Gandhi. He was a gentle force that moved the world. Yeah, he was very much on about ahimsa, about non-violence, and about satya, the truth. Two aspects that were very extremely strongly important to him. And he was extremely strong in his ethics and in his practice and his discipline. He was very much a very self-disciplined man. And yeah, he considered like ahimsa, non-violence, as one of the highest virtue. And yeah, and then through compassion, he actually could topple complete empires at that time. He worked for liberating um, India from the those who ruled over India at that time. And he was, he was great soul. That's what Mahatma mean. Mahatma mean great soul. And he is famously said, "The greatness of a nation and its moral progress can be judged by the way its animals are treated." Again, a wonderful quote. We can all reflect upon that in our own country. How is our country treating animals? And that we saw how much progress we have made. Dare I say we have not made much progress, unfortunately. Um, all over the world, it's a bit of a catastrophe. But we are somehow moving toward in a positive direction in some sense. So kindness and compassion spreads more easily nowadays through medias like YouTube, like internet, um, and then we people start to see the truth for themselves. So before the internet, it was very hard maybe to know the truth, like what happens in dairy farms, for example. Probably nobody knew, and it was very much people thought it was very peaceful, and that cows give milk because they want to, and maybe they need to for us to take the milk. Of course, that's complete lie and complete, not right. And also, meat. Now we know exactly what happens, but still, it's we are we are still far away from an ideal society, but we are moving towards it. So I hope one day, not too far from this time, the world will be more vegan, if not 100%, and close to it. And then we will see heaven on earth, true heaven. And yeah, and he also said the difference between what we do and what we are capable of doing would suffice to solve most of the world's problems. That's a beautiful saying about kind of what we can do to help the world, to help each other. And he showed that compassion is not something that is passive, but something that has a lot of power. Because through his compassion, he could liberate India. And he freed the nation, basically. So, that's why he's quite revered in India, all over the world. And so that was today's presentation. I hope you enjoyed it and you took something positive out of it. So to summarize, there are many great people in history that made big changes, and all of them had great hearts. They are way ahead of their time. They understood what is nonviolence, how we should behave with all living beings, not only with humans. That's the kind of, I would say, the issue in this world, and maybe in this time especially. We often hear about kindness toward humans, that we should be kind toward humans. That is true, of course, that is not wrong. But we rarely hear people say we should be kind to animals, people as well. But nowadays it becomes more known, but still it's there is a blockage for many to really embrace it. But once embrace compassion, kindness, there is no going back, but in a good way. That means our heart expands. We try to start to see the truth of this world. I like to think of it as waking up to reality. And I would also like to think that people are just sleeping. So people are not, like no one is bad, of course. I'm not saying anyone is bad person, but just asleep in one's own mind, one's own world, one's mind. In society, society is like making us sleep, and culture, even religions. And we should wake up to reality and see reality as it is and for what it is. And once we wake up, there's no going back to sleep. That means once we open our eyes to to reality, to compassion, to kindness, we cannot go back. It's not possible. Um, that's why it's very good to go to learn more about the vegan lifestyle, and what are its different aspects. Not only health, but especially ethics. Many people go vegan or plant-based because of health, and that, of course, is good. That is very good. And then, only then, they start to learn more about it, and they learn about the how animals are treated. Then they switch to being vegan for health to being vegan for ethics, and that is much stronger. Because if one is vegan for ethics, then there's really no, or almost no, going back. One just cannot unseen what one has seen. But if one is like vegan for health, then maybe one would be healthy after a couple of months or a year or two. Then one will believe, oh, now I can eat meat again, or fish, or eggs, or cheese, and then one will slowly go back to animal food. That's why it's important to really understand and to learn about the vegan lifestyle from all its aspects. And one of the most important, for me at least, is the ethics. For me, that's the only reason that should be enough for people to go vegan. I understand not everybody can immediately see this, but so going for other aspects like environmental, planet, very strong argument there. Health, very strong argument there. Social justice, very strong arguments there. So any aspects is good, but one should also watch documentaries to understand it from the ethics side, and then that will be the last last pillar of the house, and then it will stand very strongly. Yeah. So thank you very much, and let's go to practice. So, hello everyone. Let's start our practice as always with a gentle prayer. Just for today, I will not worry. Just for today, I will not be angry. Just for today, I will do my work honestly. Just for today, I will show gratitude for many blessings. And just for today, I will be kind to all living beings. May today be a joyful, peaceful, blissful, and magical day. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all the beings in all the worlds be happy and free, and may our thoughts, words, and deeds contribute in some way to that happiness and freedom for all. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om peace to all of nature, peace to all living beings, to all humans, to all animals, and finally peace to ourselves, to our own mind. Om. So yeah, so let's start. So now we're going um, to do the gratitude session. So we're going to do for a couple of minutes, just being grateful, um, grateful for anything that one wish to be grateful for. So let's do that for a couple of minutes. At the end of it, I will ring the bell. So, let's start. So we did the prayer, we did the gratitude session. Let's continue the usual sequence. So, first, a little bit of physical exercise, very basic one. Feel free to do whatever you are used to do. But if you want to just join and do some simple stuff, then it's okay. So first, some Sufi rolls, just a good way to start. So just the chest forward and back. When you inhale forward, exhale back. Now the other way. Come back to center, inhale, exhale down to one side. Inhale, extend the spine, exhale turn a bit more. Come back to center, inhale, exhale turn to the other side. Inhale, extend the spine, exhale turn a bit more. Come back to center. Then just bring your hands on your shoulders and inhale, exhale. The other side. Then some big bear. First inhale and exhale. Come back to center. One hand on the floor. Inhale and turn. The other side. Come back to center. Make a bit of rolls with the wrists and fingers. Now extend your legs and do some stretching with the foot. Then bring your hand in a diamond shape, so like this. Hold your feet and just fold forward, don't push. Very passive. And slowly come back. So this is the physical part of it. Um, Now, next is what we do after we do some physical exercise. Okay, this is ridiculously easy ones. So, but if we do like normally harder ones, what we want to do usually we want to relax. So, like shavasana, um, for example, is a good position. But okay, here we didn't do anything really hard, but it's just kind of a systematic way of working, of practicing, which we doing a relaxation afterwards, and we're going to see the 31 points of relaxation. So we're going to do the 31 points until the 20th session. So from the 21st, we'll do a bit further. But until the 20th, we will always do the 31 points of relaxation because we really need to master that. Of course, even 20 days will not be enough, but the idea is really to be able to focus on each points really like 100% or close, and be very mindful about that. So when we have thoughts that come, then we bring our mind back to the center. So we will do it like before, like twice. Once I will guide it, and once you will do it on your own. So just bring your like spine straight, head, neck, and trunk aligned. Take a few deep breaths. Relax your shoulders and your belly, your face and your head and your neck. Relax your legs, your arms, your feet. Your entire body is relaxed. Now bring your entire awareness to the space between the eyebrows. Imagine a beautiful blue star there, which is going to accompany us on all the points. Now bring your awareness to the pit of the throat. The right shoulder, right elbow, right wrist, tip of the right thumb, tip of the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Back to the right wrist, right elbow, right shoulder, pit of the throat, left shoulder, left elbow, left wrist, tip of the left thumb, tip of the index finger, middle finger, ring finger, and little finger. Back to the left wrist, left elbow, left shoulder, pit of the throat, the space between the chest, the right chest, middle chest, left chest, And again, the center of the chest. And just relax. Now do it once on your own. And slowly open your eyes. So now we move to the pranayama part. Again, we do very similarly to before. So we're going to do two types of breathing. Most important, just I repeat, that breath must be silent, um, without hiccups. So no, like breathing in, stop, breathing in, stop, and so on. It should all be very, very smooth. We avoid to have pauses between inhalation and exhalation and exhalation and inhalation. And we try to make our breath diaphragmatic, meaning we from the belly. So our shoulders stay very relaxed, not going up. Chest is relaxed, and we really focus on natural breathing, basically, as we should breathe all the time. Yeah, so we're going to do 4-4. So 4 seconds in, 4 seconds out. Yeah, basically that's it. Very easy. But really do it mindfully. Try to do it and then really focus on what we heard, what we talked about the smoothness, etc. If thoughts come, then return to the breath again. Okay, let's do that. Just for a couple of minutes. and slowly open your eyes. So now we move to the second part, which is breathing in for 3 seconds and out for 6 seconds. If that is too much, go to 2, 4, or even 1, 2. But I think 3, 6 should be fine for most people. And it is fairly safe. So let's do the same. So breathe in 3 seconds, breathe out for 6 seconds. So let's do that. And slowly open your eyes. So that was the controlled breathing practice of pranayama. But before we continue, let's take 5 minutes break. Okay, so let's continue. So now we're going to do again, like yesterday, the alternate nostril breathing, also called Nadi Shodhana or Anuloma Viloma, which is just a practice where we breathe from one nostril at a time. There are different aspects to it, but we're not going to go too deep in it. So just with the hands, bend your index and your middle finger, and then we are going to block either the right or the left. We're going to do the second type of Nadi Shodhana, which is just imagine that we start, so we block the right, and then we exhale from left, so it will be exhale left, inhale left, switch, exhale right, inhale right, switch, exhale left, inhale left, switch, exhale right, inhale right, switch, exhale left, inhale left, switch, exhale right, inhale right. So in total it is 6 inhalation, 6 exhalation. And yeah, and that is one round. And the second round is when we do exactly the same, but we start from the other nostril. And the third round is when we start again from the first nostril. So basically that's it. So we're going to do it without, in a similar way like before for the breathing control practice. So make it as silent as possible, smoothly, no retentions, diaphragmatic. Just 1-1, so like x seconds in, x seconds out, not x2. Yeah, so let's do it. So we do it one time together, and then each one of us will do it on his or her own for 3 rounds. So let's do that. So first, Vishnu Mudra, inhale, exhale, inhale to start. Block right, exhale from left. Inhale from left. Switch, exhale from right. Inhale from right. Switch, exhale. Inhale. Switch, exhale. Inhale. Switch, exhale. Inhale. Switch, exhale. And inhale. And relax. So of course one nostril will be more or less blocked, so it's okay to make noise from that nostril. And yeah, and for the duration of each inhalation exhalation, it's as you feel. Depends on your capacity, and you can do it from like 3 seconds, 4 seconds, 2 seconds, but not too fast, not too slow. Somewhere moderate. And between each round, we can do a bit of just relax for 10 or 15 seconds, and then we restart the next round. So let's do that now for 3 rounds, each one of us on one's own. So let's continue. Let's do the primary method exercise, which is just making a noise with the mouth closed, just like when we exhale. So it's like inhale and exhale with the tone and so on, which is very calming to the nervous system. So let's do that for a couple of minutes. And relax. Just feeling the effects of the exercises. Do you feel more relaxed, more stressed? What is the quality of your breathing? So, so this was the pranayama. So now we move to our self-dialogue practice, where we talk with ourselves. I always discuss a bit beforehand. So again, it's to talk positively with our own mind, with our own body, higher self, or all the other aspects of mind. And yeah, so there are many different ways of talking. Anything goes, anything is okay. Whatever you feel drawn to talk with your mind, then do that. So some ideas are like prayers, gratitude, higher truths, who am I, what do I want, self-counseling, and friendship with mind, being like having a friendly chat with the mind, or maybe affirmations, anything that is positive and that brings peace to our own mind, then that would be a good dialogue to have. So so let's do that for about 20 12 minutes. Mm. So that was our self-dialogue practice for this morning. We're going to move into the final part, which is the meditation, actual meditation. Um, but before that, let's take 5 minutes break. So let's do the meditation practice. We're going to do a bit differently this time. We're going to go from like 3 minutes to higher time, just so that we are able to focus, like to somehow convince our mind that we can focus for a short period of time. And that's something that I would encourage to try to really take very short meditation sessions, even 3 minutes, where one really concentrate on the object of concentration for just 3 minutes. That way our mind is more focused, because our mind knows that it will not last long, so it wants to do his or her best to do what is required. So we will start with 3 minutes meditation. Just we'll do the same thing, like watching the effect of the breath in the nostrils of the air coming in and out. You can also watch the temperature of the air, or if you feel it somewhere else, then that's okay too. The important thing is just to try to be one-pointed, and if thoughts come, because thoughts will come, just let them be. Don't be angry with yourself or with your mind, or thoughts are just thoughts, and they're like clouds. Let them come, let them go. Don't focus on them, don't give them power. The more we give them power, the more they grow. So let's try that, and then I will not really guide it. It's quite short. Just try to feel stable and comfortable, like do the Kayashtayriam practice if it helps. Just find a comfortable, stable position, and then just try to. In the beginning, you can count the breath. So just when there is an inhale, you count 1 in the mind, no, not out loud. And then 2 and 5 and so on until 1, and then again. And then after some time, just let go and watch only the sensations of the breath. And and let mindfulness bring the attention back to the breath whenever it wanders. So let's start now. So just relax a little bit. You can stretch your legs. And then we go now to the second round of 4 minutes. So 4 minutes watching the breath. No control at all. Just watching it, being aware of it, and that's all. So let's start now. So take some time to relax. Again, stretch your legs or get up. Or do some exercises. So let's continue. So we are going to do now 6 minutes. Yeah, so feel comfortable. It's a good idea now to really do the Kaya Steiriam that we did in the past to really feel stable and comfortable. And yeah, let's try it out. Now relax for a minute or two. Okay, so now a bit further, um, we'll do a 9-minute session. So that is a good way to also to see the difference, how you feel between the length of the session and your concentration. If it is better with less time or more time. And yeah, so that way one can go from less time, that usually concentration is better, to more time, then to be more diffused, but more time. So let's start. So for 9 minutes. So again, stretch a little bit and relax. Okay, so let's continue our exploration of concentration. So we go to 12 minutes now, and let's see how it goes. So really try to be fully focused on the present moment during those 12 minutes, 12 moments. Because the present moment is all we really have. That's the present moment. That's the only reality, so to speak. Future is not yet come. The past is over. So all we have is this present moment. So let's make good use of it and really be in the moment as much as possible. It's not always possible, but when we have something that comes up, just return very mindfully to the present moment, to, in this case, our breath. Very gentle breath, no stress, very, very relaxed. If it's already too much or it's enough for you, you can stop here. If you wish to continue, then let's do the 12 minutes. So let's just relax 1 or 2 minutes, and then we will do our final meditation of 18 minutes. Okay, get ready. So this is going to be 18 minutes. That's quite longer. Um, Try to not move if possible, as much as possible. If you really have to move, that is fine, of course. Just try to remain stable and comfortable. So before starting, it's always a good idea to really make yourself comfortable. If you're cold, have something around you. Um, and yeah, and don't forget to put your phone on airplane mode. You don't want to have notifications um, during meditation. So let's start. So this concludes our meditation session for today. So for a recap, today the presentation was about great souls of the past who were plant-based mostly or entirely. And there are many great souls in the past who came and who inspired people to be plant-based, to be, okay, there was no vegan word, but to be vegan similar. And there was at least one vegan in history that is historically correct. That is Al-Mari, the vegan Arab of the 10th century, an amazing soul. In his poems, he clearly stated what he is against, and basically he was against cruelty, against unkindness, against animal exploitation. He rejected meat, fish, eggs, honey, dairy. So yeah, he was maybe the original vegan, the first one, an amazing soul. But yeah, many others like Leonardo da Vinci, Mahatma Gandhi, Buddha, Pythagoras. So it's great to study a little bit of the history of great people and how they lived. Often they had similar ideas about compassion. Okay, it was seen from different perspective, but it was basically very similar. So yeah, and then in the practice we saw a little bit some different. We practiced meditation, but in very gradual meditation. So starting with 3 minutes, then 4 minutes, then 6, 9, 12, and 18. That way one has some time to really to be acclimated to the concentration aspect of meditation, which is one of the main point. And also mindfulness, or bringing the mind back to the concentration. So it's going hand in hand, meditation and mindfulness. They are both two sides of the same coin. And yeah, and this is quite a fun way to practice. So you start with short periods, can be even less than 3 minutes, can be even 1 minute, 2 minutes. Just that you try to really focus for that full minute, full concentration. You can imagine that like a laser. Laser is super powerful. Just 1 second of it is can make a lot of damage. While if one does the light of the sun diffused, it's much less efficient. I mean, not less efficient, but less focused. So similarly with meditation, if we can focus our mind just for 1 minute, fully focused, it can be very powerful and very beneficial. But also long meditation, even if the concentration is diffused, it's also good. Both are kind of good. One is really focused for one specific short period of time, and one is for longer period of time, letting the mind calm down. Because usually the mind calms down with time also. It takes time, it's not immediate. So it's two different ideas of the practice. One calm down more and concentration, and the one is more purely like concentration. So yes, so thank you very much, and I hope it was an interesting session, and I wish you a wonderful, wonderful day ahead, and I hope to see you soon. And yeah, bye bye.